Hey, BassGeek here, and this is the #1 way to fire up bass in the summertime, but I think most anglers are intimidated by it. Why is that? Because I think most pros and most YouTubers give all the press and all the love to catching big giant bass on big giant baits. But let me tell you, I'm about to show you something that's going to make a world of difference for you guys. This is going to allow a lot of you to fish this bait on any body of water, clear, dirty, for any size of bass. As we always say, you've got to match the hatch. Let me show you what this bait is and what I like to do with it. All right, geeks, for any of you all that have been around the channel for a long time, you guys know I love to ledge fish. I've been doing it for years. I've been talking about it for years, probably a lot longer than any other pro or YouTuber that's out there. And there's no doubt in the world, I love to throw a big nickel spoon for big bass. But sometimes the case is that these don't work. And it's just because there's just not this size of bait fish in some of the lakes that I fish. Or I'm fishing for smallmouth or spotted bass. Now, these things will get bites and they will get bigger bites, even in those situations. But if you really want to fire up bass, you need to downsize and match that hatch. But let me tell you something that I've learned because of forward-facing sonar, and I want to share this with you guys. So, look, I know everybody's got mixed emotions about forward-facing sonar, but the thing about it is it is really enabling me to teach you more, even if you don't have it, about how fish react to certain baits. And this bait, fish react almost like no other that I've seen. When it is fluttering down, they go insane. And that's why I say it's the #1 way to get a reaction bite out of bass. And there's so many different ways to fish this, even without forward-facing sonar. And I've been doing it for years. And the things that I've learned is that smaller baits get more bites. The two spoons that I use more than any is probably going to be the Mojo spoon. Now you can see how small this is. It's a 1/2 ounce spoon. You can fish this from the bank. You can fish it from any body of water there is. But this is one of my favorite spoons to get bit on. I mean, look at the size of that thing, and the action is incredible. One thing you want to make sure that you put on any and all spoons, whether it be jigging spoons or flutter spoons, is a swivel. The great thing about nickels, they all come with a swivel, ready to go. One of my favorites is the Nichols 4-inch. This is the Lake Fork series spoons. This thing has some incredible action, and I've caught a ton of bass on it the past couple of years, especially using it with my forward-facing sonar. So I make a couple of modifications to this, and let's start with this right here. Now, they put a lot of flashaboo if I'm in clear water. If I'm in dirtier water, I'm going to leave this exactly the way it is. But because I fish a lot of ultra clear water, 15, 20 feet of visibility, the very first thing that I'm going to do, I love a dress treble, but the flashaboo is a little too flashaboo-y. So I take this off and just put either a white treble, dress treble, a white feather treble, and I make one more change, and that's this. I take a crank wrap. Now, they don't make a crank wrap as small as the 3 and 4-inch spoons. So what I do is I'll get like a 10XD in gizzard shad, and I'll put on here, and you can see how flat this is, and that's incredible in clear water. Now, sometimes I'll leave the back exposed to get a little extra flash, but if it's a super sunny day, I'm gonna go ahead and put that second side on here so that it's not giving any flash whatsoever. The same goes with the Mojo spoon. I'll use like the 6XD for these, or even the 5XD works fine from crank wraps, but I'll put it on both sides of this, and I'll change the flashaboo so that this is a very natural bait falling in the water. See that, geeks? Let me tell you about Boat Effects graph locks. Listen, I've even got one coming for the graph itself, my Garmin Eco Maps. I love it. That way, there's no way somebody is going to be able to pull this off here without some real work. What I love about it most is they're 100% American made. I know these guys personally. They work their tails off from the steps to the foam to the graph locks and the mounts, they make some pretty incredible heavy duty products. Those graph locks, for example, 100% machined aluminum, I believe. Might want to ask them that. I'm not a machinist. But anyway, go check them out, guys. There's a 5% off right here. And all of a sudden I'm being attacked by gnats. So let me get back to telling you about some spoons. Geeks, rigging this up really is pretty simple, and it's the same for the big spoons. So what I do is I will tie a pitsene knot on here. I'll go around 6 to 7 times. Now, you're not going to fish these around grass. Believe it or not, standing timber, they actually work pretty good. But I just tie that pitsene knot. I just come out through the top right there. If I can get this out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and moisten it. I'm going to cinch down, slide down, and I'm going to cut that tag in. Now, the good thing, and one of the reasons why I like this knot so much, is that if you go through the top, the tag end will come out toward the top. It's quick, it's easy, it's simple. But if you go through the top and then through the bottom loop, you've got a San Diego jam knot, and the tag end is going to stick down, which means if you're around some grass or some cover, that tag end's not going to catch a lot of crap. So I'm going to show you both setups because, like I said, I do love to throw the big spoons if I know I'm around big bass. And when I say big bass, look, you can catch 3-pounders on this. It's just like a big swim bait. You can catch 3-pounders on this all day long. 2-pounders will come up and hit it. And a lot of that's got to do with the size of bait fish that those bass are keying on. But this is my setup. This is a TFO. This is a Tactical Elite. This is an 8-foot mag heavy. You can see it's 1 to 5 ounces, moderate fast. It is a treble hook. I do like a little bit of a faster or a moderate fast tip. You're not playing these fish when you get them on. That's a lot of metal hanging out of their mouth. You make sure you drag them in. This is a Super Duty. I don't even think they make this Super Duty anymore, but I'll put rod and reel, comparable rod and reel links in the description. This is a 7.5 to 1. I like a fast reel because, again, I want to hook them. I want to get them in the boat, and that is K9 20-pound Pro 100 100% fluorocarbon. So this is the one we're really going to talk about today. This is our 4-inch, and basically you can see, man, it's pretty much on a flipping stick. So this is a 7.6 heavy fast action. This is the TFO option bass. Man, I love these rods. Now I've got this coupled with one of my new Fitzgeralds. This is the VLD 10. This is, I believe, yep, an 8 1-to-1. Again, like I said, I like a fast reel because even at the Mojo or the Lake Fork spoon size, it's a lot of metal to be swinging around. You want to get these bass in quick. And of course, I've got this. I actually go down a little bit, 12 to 15. I'm not going to be fishing this around cover. So 12 to 15 pound Pro 100 K9 fluorocarbon. So fishing the spoon is pretty simple. Again, when we talk about forward-facing sonar, the great thing is we can target the fish that we want to throw at. And to do that, you're going to find the fish, you're going to line up. Now, I will tell you, a flutter spoon will flutter in the wind. But you can become pretty accurate with these smaller spoons over time. So what you're going to do is you're going to cast this spoon out there. You're going to let it hit the water. You're going to let it sink down. Now, this is one of those baits that for some reason sometimes can work letting it fall past the bass. A lot of baits like your minnow baits or, jerk baits, this, that, or the other, you want to keep above them. Sometimes you want to keep this above them. But for some reason, sometimes when this comes and just barely goes past them, they'll follow it down. And when it gets ripped up, they will chase it up. They go crazy over it. It's just creating those reactionary movements that can get those bites. Now, you really got to watch your line as it falls. You got to kind of keep a taut line, kind of watch it. You don't want it to fall on slack line because a lot of times when it's falling, they'll come over there and hit it. A lot of times what will happen is when it's falling, they're going to hit it. You're going to lift up You're gonna jerk that rod again, and that's when you're gonna set the hook. The retrieve is just that. You're gonna throw it out there, you're gonna hop it up. You're gonna throw it out there, you're gonna hop it up. When you get the hook set, it's like I said, you've got a single treble hook back here. You can put some stinger hooks up here. We'll talk about that some other time. But you're gonna wanna set the hook straight up, reel down, and drag that fish in. Don't fight them. Get them to the boat hop them in if you don't have a net man, because a lot of times they're gonna throw these if you try to play them. Now, if you're scoping these bass, make sure that you've got the bell open and that you're letting that fall. Now, you can thumb it a little bit and it'll fall a little more vertical, but when you cast over them, you want to make sure you've got it and you even feed line if you have to be able to get them down to those bass. Now, traditionally, it is the same thing. If you're just casting and fishing it off the bottom, like the big spoons, you're just going to cast out there, let it sink to the bottom. You're just going to rip it off. Let it sink to the bottom, rip it off. Now, I've got another little special retrieve, but we'll save that for another day to get them fired up. So, as always, questions, comments in the comment section below. You geeks know I love to talk fishing with you. And by the way, that special retrieve, I'll put a video here at the end after the outro so you can see a little more about that. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell so you get the notifications when these videos come out. 100% Watch Squad. Join the 100% Watch Squad. It's free. All you got to do is watch the videos when they come out from start to finish. Love you 100% Watch Squatters out there. I really do. And as always, you geeks rock.